Good afternoon, class. This is my second video that I'm going to send to you. I had given you an introduction to the play Riders to the Sea, an introduction to the writer, and a little bit about the movement. So from now onwards, I will go a little further in the discussion. And remember that I had given you study matter on Riders to the Sea. So when I discuss different aspects of the play, please refer to the matter. Alright, I will not be discussing it in as much detail as it is given to you in the study material, but when you read from the study material, the point is that it should be clear to you. I should be able to get the point across to you. So that is my function, and that is what I'm going to do. So in my last video, I told you that Synge is a part of the Irish dramatic revival, and what you have to understand very clearly is that Irish drama, and drama particularly that Synge is writing, is concentrating a lot on the native color, the native taste of the life of the people of Ireland. I had mentioned Celtic literature, I had mentioned Gaelic. Gaelic is a language that was spoken in certain areas of Ireland. It is in fact a language from which English that we speak today has evolved. So the attempt of these dramatists is to capture native culture, myths, folklore, stories, the essence of original, authentic Irish life, which Synge has done in his plays, to the extent that it is so close to real life that it can be read as sociological reading. That is what some critics say about Synge's plays. So, and that is why also there was an insistence on using Irish characters, Irish actors to play the roles in his plays. Another thing that we see is the language that is used in the play. I'm going to read, when we get to that, when we get to a discussion of the language, I'm going to read a few lines from the play. Naturally, it will not be possible to read the entire play, but you will see how language is spoken differently. It is English, but it is spoken differently, and this is what is called Anglo-English. So it is English where the British style of speaking is not allowed to dominate, and it's a very it's a language that is spoken by the rural people of Ireland, and it's a very effective, poetic, literary language, and there's a great simplicity in the spoken language and a great simplicity in the performance of the play also. Where we see the musical quality, the poetic quality of the play, of the dialogues, it comes from Synge's own training in music. In fact, he was very interested in music. He took violin classes, but because he had a very orthodox Christian mother, they did not really approve so much of his musical leanings. In fact, as he grew up, I told you in my previous video how he was reading other things. He was reading scientific texts, etc., and that is why he became removed from religion. And we will see in the play how there is a contradiction between the native beliefs and myths and legends and Christian beliefs, and that is shown in the play. So with that we see, and we also have to remember that these are nationalists who have a strong feeling for the nation, for the country. So that essence is also reflected in Synge's plays. One more very important thing that you must remember, a particular place that you must remember, and the name of a text. And I'm going to write that text on the board. You see, this is a mirror reflection, so you might have to zoom it up and then reverse it while reading, because I can see that it's the mirror image which you are seeing of my writing. But anyway, I will still go ahead with the use of the board. So there is a work that Synge has written which is called The Aran Islands. ARAN and islands. Um, Now, as I told you, he was in contact with Yeats. Yeats was a senior and a guiding light for Synge, and Synge had been directed by Yeats to go and spend time in the Aran Islands. The Aran Islands are a group of islands very close to Ireland, to the coast of Ireland, and it's a rural life, very close to nature, very earthy life that people of this island follow. So Yeats wanted Synge to collect that essence, to collect that real feel of authentic Irish, rural, simple country life. What do you mean by country life? Village life, simple life, unmodern, primitive. So he was advised to go and stay in the Aran Islands by Yeats. And though he did not stay there permanently, he would visit and come back. That way, he did not follow Yeats. He would visit and come back. So, after living in the Aran Islands, he visited the Aran Islands many times. And this is a work that he wrote after about 4 of his visits to the Aran Islands. So please remember the name of these islands, because yours will be a paper that is a multiple choice paper. So you could be asked where the raw material of this play comes from, which authentic life has been depicted by Synge in his play Riders to the Sea. So because these are islands, what do you understand by islands? I wish this was a live class and I could ask you to participate, but that cannot happen. So an island is obviously a geographical structure. Geographically, it is a place which is surrounded by the sea, by water from all sides. So there is a close connection between the lives of the people of this island, and the sea. All right, that connection cannot be ignored. It is a connection from which none of the characters of Synge's play Riders to the Sea can run away from or can dissociate from. So very importantly, please remember that the raw material of the play Riders to the Sea is based on the life of the people of the Aran Islands. So this you have to remember. Then we say that his theatre is a part of what is called people's theatre. All right, that is another thing that you must remember, and it is that theatre which tries to give expression to a life which has not found expression. These are very simple people. These people of the island are simple people, rural people. They have a simple pattern of life based on basic realities of life: animal rearing, fishing, trading with animals, etc. When we read a little bit of the play, or when I discuss the play with you, you will get to know. So so please remember that the raw material is derived from Aran Islands, and it is based on the life of simple people. And there are certain comments that Synge has made about the people of these islands and life on this island, and it is that which structured his tragedy, which gave birth to the tragedy that he has written in this play and in other places also. So there are certain quotations that Synge has made, and I'd like to share these with you. And when he says that when he talked to the people of the island, interacted with the people of the island, he says that he found a strange sense of exile and desolation among the people. And he also says that it is a world of grey, not Thomas Gray, G-R-E-Y Gray, the color grey, which is a mixture of dark and light, which is a mixture of sadness and a little bit of happiness, in that sense, grey used in that sense. And also he says in another place, where men, that is the people of these islands, where men seemed to be under a judgment of death, which means that the foreboding of death, the forewarning of death is very present death is present everywhere. Death is living with them in their daily lives. So the imminent death, or not the natural kind of death that we imagine, that people live a certain period of their lives and have a full life, and death has to come. But this is a kind of death, an awareness of death with which they are all living, and they are resigned to that awareness and an acceptance of death. They are resigned. That resignation, that feeling of resignation is very important, and it is there. A feeling of despairing kind of acceptance, and it is there in the play. We will see it as we study the play. So those are things that he used as the raw material, and he wove it into a tragedy which has a lot of dramatic irony, it has a lot of intensity, it has a lot of noble pity. It shows how the people of that island lived with a lot of intensity and passion. So that is what we will be discussing. Then one important thing also that you have to remember is the structure of the play, and we know that it is a one act play. Now you have read Shakespearean drama in the second semester, and you have read that Shakespearean drama or traditional drama is divided into acts, generally 5 acts, and the acts are further divided into scenes. But this is a new form of drama. We have studied this form of drama, and in the forms of drama we have studied that one act play comprises a short play. So sometimes the see, one of the definitions of a proper Aristotelian plot, I hope you remember these terms, Aristotelian, and what is the concept of a proper play, what are the 6 elements of a tragedy, etc. So when we discuss what a proper plot is in the Aristotelian concept, we say that a proper plot has to have a proper beginning, middle, and an end. So because this is a short play, it is only a play that has no further subdivisions, and it's called a one act play. Therefore it is a short play, and there is a beginning and there is an end. There seems to be no middle. Alright, so whatever is the theme of the play, the plot develops and ends. There doesn't seem to be